Hi, Yaffa, and hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Heart Nest today. And Yaffa, thank you so much for joining us for this second conversation in Heart Nest, where we share tales of hope and actually hope to expand consciousness beyond what we actually think is possible. And without further ado, we are going to talk about your journey, which is loaded. There is a lot to share, and it all started. I mean, I'm sure it started before that, but the actual healing journey started when you had a car accident, right? So would you
Yes.
would you introduce yourself, Yafa, and then explain to us what happened? What is it that actually triggered that journey to into healing?
Hi, Carol. Yes, my name is Yaffa Finert. I live in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. And I used to live in Florida, and we relocated here 3 years ago. And my life was going great. I was very happy with life. I loved the way my life was going. And then February 9 of 2014, I was involved in a car accident on a highway. I was rear-ended by two cars. They were going at 75 miles an hour. And so I was hit twice, and my car was projected about 200 meters ahead. And of course, I was in shock. I think I lost consciousness for for a minute or two, and I was taken by ambulance to the nearest hospital. I was with my daughter. She was in the car with me, and thank God, she was okay. And uh, I thought I was okay, but only the weeks that were coming was telling me that I was not okay. And I saw my life changing suddenly. I used to be a home care nurse. I love my job. I had been a nurse for 30 years, and loving and caring for people, and enjoying what I did in life. And little by little, the pain was increasing. The pain in my back, my sciatic nerve was burning. And of course, I could not take pain medication to go to work because I did not want to drive under influence.
So,
And I
sorry,
wanted to
because
be.
sorry to interrupt, Yafa, but it's because you felt the medication would have made you drowsy. Is that
Yes,
okay?
yes, it would
Yeah.
make me drowsy, and also it impaired the judgment. So when I am
Right,
at a patient's home, I
right.
need to be fully present
Sure.
and not being under the influence and making the wrong judgment. So I, I, I did not take the medication for that purpose, but I started having more and more pain, and to the point where by the time it was May 21st, I had to let go of work. I could no longer work. I was not able to walk very well. I was in pain. I could not sit, stand, or walk for more than 5 minutes. The pain was really bad, so I was home. As I did take the pain medication, which was hydrocodone at the time, and being a nurse, I knew of the danger of addiction, so I did
Mm.
everything possible not to be addicted by lessening the frequency. Instead of taking it every 4 6 hours, I would take it every 8 hours. And instead of taking two tablets, I would take one tablet. And that went on for months until I discovered that pain medication play a number in your neuroendocrine system. And so after a year, I think I let go of the medication. I just stopped cold turkey, which is not a good idea because I had the side effect. I was itching and
Oh
feeling
God.
like ants were crawling under my skin. I
So,
had
so,
called the
so at
pain
this
manager.
time, you were still in a lot of pain, but you decided to completely stop any medication
Yes,
because
yes.
of the side effects. But,
Yes, and I researched natural ways of treating the pain, and I found turmeric, and I was taking frankincense essential oils, also turmeric, and I was diffusing some lavender to soothe the pain also, and basically to kind of quiet the nervous system, because when you live in pain all the time, yeah, it creates depression.
yeah. And
And
sorry, I'd like to clarify something as well. You said you could not sit, lie, or walk for more than 5 minutes. So what was your sleeping like?
sleeping was very much interrupted, very
Yeah.
hard. At the end, my husband and I, we bought a Tempur-Pedic bed that I could adjust um, the level, the feet, elevate the feet or
Yeah.
the head. I developed bursitis on my right hip, and because it was hurting me to be on my left side, I could not find a position that I was really comfortable in,
Yeah, so I
and
just wanted to clarify that to show that because when we don't sleep, we don't repair as well either. And also it
yeah.
has a tendency to drive us crazy, right? I mean, there's only so much we can take before,
Yes, yes, and
before it
that can
affecting us
also,
emotionally, physically. Okay. And
it
another
can
thing,
contribute, I'm sorry, it can
sorry,
contribute to depression as well,
yes,
because when you
yes.
don't sleep well, then you don't have melatonin. Taking pain medication affects your circadian rhythm and the amount of melatonin you have.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I did go into depression because
Right.
my whole life was changing. I was becoming more and more unable to function, unable to get dressed on myself on my own. My husband had to help me uh, get undressed, putting on undergarment, or even carry me to take a bath.
Mm,
I could not stand to take a shower, and I just I was just turning 55. Well, I was 54 when the accident happened. Then I turned 55 in April. And I did not think that, something like that would ever happen to me.
mm,
And I got really depressed because I no longer felt like a nurse or a wife or a mother. My social life was very much affected. I could not go out. My friends did not understand the pain and how I would cancel at the last minute because it was taking too much from me. So I started losing friends also to find someone that is that empathize, that understand your pain, especially when it's not visible, it's all inside. And unless the person is going through that, it's very hard for people to understand the pain of somebody else, especially when it doesn't have outward symptoms. So I was pretty much alone, with my husband. My husband was working from home, so I always had his presence. And but by the time it was June, I was very much depressed. very much in a lot of pain. It was just increasing. And the pain medication doctor gave me a muscle relaxant to try. So the combination of the muscle relaxant and the pain medication hydrocodone was not a good mix for me. It got me very suicidal, and and for someone who's already depressed to give this kind of medication, it's like I did not know what was happening to me, but I just wanted to end my life one day. And so I locked myself in the bedroom. I had the bottle. I took two hydrocodone and two Flexeril. I doubled the dose, and I said to myself, "That's it. That's what I'm gonna do." And but I did not take it. It was still on the bed. I was thinking of my three children, and I was crying. I was crying so hard because I did not see an end to it. I did not see a deliverance inside. So my husband heard my cry, and he told me to open the bedroom door. I was like unresponsive. I was frozen in the frozen state of, you know, not like you're stuck somewhere and you don't know how to get out, and you only see one way, which is the medication. So my husband knocked the door down with his shoulder and came, and I was able to talk to him and tell him about that nobody understand my pain, and he himself could not really understand. He saw me, so he lived it with me, but by seeing me, um, and and uh, and he understood that my pain was real. And
That
so
day,
I, that day,
that day.
that day, when I broke down, when I showed uh, raw what it was, and that I was not lying, that I told him my whole life was changed. I didn't like that I could no longer work. I could not, we did not have really any intimacy. And we had just been married for 3 years.
Oh
I
my
was
God. Wow. Wow.
so that played a lot in my
Of
psychological
course.
state, and but he showed a lot of empathy and understanding, and I only needed one person, and I only needed him to understand, and that I was not, faking it or making it
Yeah.
up. So after that, I felt a little stronger, and um, I was praying to God to show me a way, to show me a way how I can navigate through this challenge in my life. And so one day I put YouTube and I listened to a rabbi talking about depression, and that was just for me. I needed to, that's a sign from God in a way. I needed to hear what he had to say because that's what I was living. And this rabbi was saying that depression comes from identifying oneself with the different roles that we are playing in life. So I identified myself as a nurse, but I no longer was a nurse. I identified myself as a wife. I was no longer a wife. I could not cook, clean, having intimacy. And, and I was not the mother that I thought I was going to be, meaning being there with for my children. I had it was a very hard time. But at the end, the rabbi say, all this identity you have to let go because they are created. They are not the real you. The real you is you are a spark of God, you are a child of God, and that's good enough, knowing that. And that gave me my value back, my self esteem. Then I said to myself, all this, I, I basically learned to redefine myself. And that means that whatever friends or people or parents has contributed to define me, I had to untie all this from me and letting God or the divine define myself. So I became love, I became tolerance, I became compassion, I became generosity, I became all the good attributes that make you show the divine spark in you.
That is just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I'm speechless. And I'm really curious, Yaffa. Were you religious before?
Before I've always believed in God, but as something distant from me, and I like to practice certain traditions that made me close to my Jewish roots. But I was not religious in the sense of, like going to a sanctuary, a place, and worshiping. Uh, but what changed me is I developed a personal relationship with God, not the God defined by my parents. I was brought up by my father was a rabbi and my mother was a very Orthodox Jewish woman.
Right.
So I grew up in a beautiful religious home, but the way I was taught about God was, and my mother, when she heard of the accident, the first thing she said was, well, it's a punishment from God because I don't
Oh
follow
my God.
Shabbat.
How did
Or,
you respond to that?
well, it
I
did
mean,
not
maybe
make
not
me
directly, but in your head.
it did not make me feel good, and I did not like that definition because I did not think that God, I had an innate knowing that God is good. And so if God is good, God is not going to do that to
Yes,
punish you.
yes.
And so I said to myself, things happen, but it is in the way we use God or we have a relationship with God that um, how how He's here for our help, for our support, as a guide, as a protector, as a reassuring being or entity, and that's how I developed my personal relationship. I also immersed myself in reading the Bible from beginning to end, including the New Testament, and and I was reading it with new eyes, not with what I was brought up with, but I was given my own commentary on what I was reading and the spiritual things that I learned. So I realized because I I love to read, but also feel that I have an idea, an opinion about things. So I'm not going to take other people's commentary and make it my truth. I had to bring my own commentary, and I think that when it comes to the divine, believing in God, it's a very personal thing. Nobody can tell you. No religion can tell you. I think religions are there in order to help people having certain discipline by instituting certain rituals. Some people don't need, some people that have come close to death or close to, um, yeah, because I felt by the time I was unconscious after the accident, I thought I had died and I thought I was in heaven. And when I opened my eyes and the police officer's face was in front of me, I said, well, if this is heaven, that's not beautiful. I saw smoke and buildings and cars everywhere. and but then I looked at him and he was very charming. I said, well, you're the only beautiful thing here in the picture, but otherwise. And he smiled and he said, you're not in heaven, you're on
Oh,
earth.
God. And I'm also curious, Yafa. So you developed a relationship with God, and at that point, I mean, obviously, you would expect if you allow yourself to become love, to become tolerance, to become compassion, you're gonna feel better, right? Something is gonna
Yes.
shift in you. At that stage, was that the only thing that really mattered to you, or did you have a thought in the background that was going to help you with the pain as well?
Well, the depression was lifted because I had self-love.
Right.
And then I discovered a purpose, and I had to and the purpose was to become very spiritual, to become to be to understand the nature of God more, and I started to create things with my life, with my hands. I bought different kind of jewelry, tools, and beads, and I started making jewelry. And I followed what God did. He created something one day and then he said it's good. So I decided that there was some truth with that. And I said, well, let me see what I can create. So I started making jewelry. And at the end of the day, I would not let go of my piece of jewelry until I said, okay, it's good and I'm happy. And so it gave me a sense of purpose and looking forward to the next day. Because before that I was not looking forward to get up the next day and live in the pain and know the pain. But it has transformed in the sense where I was going to build and create something. So I was giving myself meaning. And that helped me a lot to carry me through. Then, sometime in June, I I said to myself, I had prayed for God to show me a way to heal,
Right.
and so I took the MRI, and I noticed one word very crucial in the report that the neurologist did not dismiss, I guess, because I never heard anything from them. That was the word Tarlov. So I looked it up on Google, and Tarlov cyst is a condition, and it results from the leakage of cerebrospinal fluid, and it was leaking at the bottom of my spine, and it was making cyst, and the ending of the nerves in our sacral spine had this fluid wrapped around them, forming cyst. So I had a big one on the sciatic nerve, the bladder nerve that made me incontinent of urine. In the rectal nerve, I had lost a third of the feeling of my lower rectum, so I was chronically constipated.
God, yeah.
And I had another cyst on the pudendal nerve, which is the sex nerve. So that's why I had no feeling down there. and sciatic nerve had not one cyst but two cysts, and that's why I could hardly move my right leg. So that creates a lot of pain. I felt like I had shooting. I had like needles poking
Yeah.
inside my vagina
Ooh.
once in a while, and so once I found out the meaning of the word Tarlov cyst, it led me to Tarlov cyst foundation.
So,
Uh,
sorry, Yaffa, before you go on to that, I'd like to clarify as well. What were doctors telling you? What was the verdict? What did they say? What did they foresee for you?
the doctor said that it was all in my head. That
Right.
they that I should not have this much back pain. That or they wanted to give me cortisone injection in my spine, and I did not want to. I was very protective of my spine, but that's what no one had mentioned anything about surgery. But mostly it was dismissed that it
Right.
was in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
S- s-
Okay.
So,
Difficult
uh,
to take as well, isn't it? Because you're leaving it. You know it's really right.
well, then
Yeah.
I fired everybody. I including the pain management doctor. I
Right.
went to his office one day. I showed him an article I copied that tell about the disruption in the neuroendocrine system that is because of taking pain medication and what it does to you. And it affects your pituitary gland, your hypothalamus, your adrenal gland. And I just told him, I say, I wish you had told me because then I would not sign up for pain medication. And after that, I said that I no longer wanted him to be my doctor. So I took my life, my care back in my hands. And so in the Tal Cis Foundation, they mentioned the name of a doctor, Dr. Frank Feigenbaum, that understand about cyst, Tal cyst, and he's a doctor that looked outside the box and decided he could not understand why women were having so much pain and increasing in pain, and most women were telling him that the doctors dismissed that kind of
Mhm.
pain. So, and they were encouraging those cortisone injection. So I reached out to him. I had an interview with him for 15 minutes over the phone. He told me his background and how he built his own clinic of 18 beds. And he developed a technique to take care of the cyst, which is a very careful, delicate technique because the nerves are there inside the cyst, so anything can trigger.
Right.
When you manipulate the
Right.
nerves, anything can trigger, and you can become paralyzed too. So I decided to consult him in his office. So I took 4 planes that day, and my son came with me. 4 planes, and with the back pain, any takeoff and landing,
Oh,
it's a lot of pain, a lot.
excruciating. Yeah.
And but I saw the doctor, and we spoke for an hour and a half. He
So where did
reviewed
you
my.
fly to? You were in Florida at the time, yeah? So
It
where did
was
you
in
fly to?
Florida. I traveled to Dallas, Texas,
That is okay.
and he's very renowned. And the reason why I took him as my surgeon is he had people from all over the world traveling to him after they submitted the MRI and talked to him. and I met some wonderful women there. Men can have this condition too, but it's mostly prevalent in women.
Okay.
So, so I, um, so I saw him, and he saw my MRI, and he said he can help. He said, "What do you want? What do you expect?" I said, "I would like to be less in pain, and I want to treat the pain." And he said, "We can do that." And he explained to me that what he does is he goes in and squeeze the cysts that are soft to remove as much of the cerebrospinal fluid. And then he takes some fatty tissue from my thigh and he wraps the cyst so that it doesn't expand anymore. And this is guaranteed not to come back. So he had to do that on 5 cysts. And he said it would take about 2 hours for the surgery. And he said that now I got to talk to you about risk and complication of surgery. I said, I don't want to know. I am a nurse. I don't even want to read it, because just reading it, just saying the words, can trigger things in your head. And I went 100% in faith with that doctor, because as I mentioned, I developed this relationship with God, and anything I would do, anybody I would consult or talk to, I prayed a lot before that. And so I had trust in him, and I signed the consent for surgery without reading anything.
Because you
I
didn't want
just
to prime yourself for any form of failure, fear. You didn't want to feed any form of fear or doubt, right?
Yes, any surgery people go to, that they have to go with that frame of mind. And I know, because the second surgery I had later on in 2018, I did the same thing. I blocked my mind from any risk complication, and you have to have a very, very positive mind that everything would go fine, because you're putting an intention out there, a desire, and when you really feel it with conviction, I think that's how we create a reality. That's how we create an outcome. And so I saw him July 12th of 2014. And because this surgeon is very much in demand, I had to wait 3 months for the surgery, my turn, which was October 21st. So during that time, I prepared myself psychologically and physically. I watched what I was eating, taking a lot of vitamin C, building up my immune system, but especially praying for the surgeon. And so I had the surgery the 21st of October 2014, and it went well. Before the surgery, I asked the anesthesiologist if she could give me a minute so that I could pray for everybody in the room, and I prayed for the surgeon. And before closing my eyes, I could see a halo light around my surgeon head.
Wow.
And they told me I went to sleep with a smile, because I was confident. And in
There you were
2000,
in heaven, right? Or connected
yes,
with heaven.
I was in 2018, when I had to have another surgery for another condition. I did the same thing, and I saw a halo around my surgeon's head. So anyway, the surgery went fine. I was not paralyzed. I had to stay there with my husband for 10 days for the post-op consultation. And then after that, we head home. the doctor said no physical therapy for a whole year because he had to, um, the nerves are very touchy. And during the surgery, he had two neurotech that would stimulate the nerve while he was doing the squeezing of the cyst and the wrapping, so that to make sure the nerve were functioning, they were not injured. So no physical therapy, uh, nothing to trigger nerve pain, nerve flare, which I did not follow that. I love belly dancing. I love to dance. And
Wonderful.
three months after the surgery, I said to myself, I wonder if I can dance. And so I put on my belly dance costume. I started dancing, and I was so happy. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I don't have pain. I can do it." The pain comes later, not while you're doing it. It came later, and then it stayed there for 3 weeks. I was in a flare for three
Right.
weeks. I
Wow.
had called the doctor. I told him what I did.
Of
He
course,
said,
he was
"Yeah,
like, I
but."
told
He
you.
said, "Yaffa, did you enjoy it?" What you
Yeah.
were, I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, so it's worth it."
Oh,
But now,
beautiful.
now it teaches you. So I did not get reprimanded, but it teaches you that
Yeah.
knowing when too much is too much.
Yes.
So I had to
Yeah.
learn, like walking. I could not walk too long, otherwise I would feel
Yeah.
I would trigger pain. So the following year, I started physical therapy, which was good. And uh, but I still was not able to move my right leg the way I wanted to. I still had some pain. And I mean, I could walk longer, but I was still having like shooting pain down my leg, down the side of my right foot.
So generally
And
speaking, the pain had improved.
yes, the pain
You
had
were definitely
improved.
feeling better, but there were still symptoms. You still weren't quite right. There was still
Right,
some
right.
lingering pain,
Lingering.
lingering symptoms.
I still had once in a while a shooting pain in my vagina. I
Right.
still I still did not feel the lower third, uh, one third of the rectum, and but the sciatic pain was the worst. I could walk for 15 to 20 minutes, but I could not. The thing was not to be in the same position for more than 30 minutes at a time. I had to get up, walk, or change my activity. So I had called a neurosurgeon and I said, when would I see improvement? And he said, well, after 2 years, it takes 2 years for the nerve to regenerate. And after that, it does not regenerate, and you will live life with what you have. So it was the end of the 2 years, and I felt, like that day I felt like a sentence was put on what the rest of my life would be. And the next day, I was a little depressed, and I said to myself, I don't want this kind of life. I want to know I can ride a bicycle again. I can go on roller skates. I can dance without limits.
Mhm.
So I decided that I was going to listen to God's voice and not the neurosurgeon voice. Although I had great admiration for him, I did not want to have a sentence on my life. I don't like the absolute. I work as a hospice nurse for a year, part of my, work as a nurse. And I have seen instances where the 6 months, that's, I don't know why doctors, they talk like that and say, you've got 6 months to live, or this is bullshit, if I can say this word.
Go for
Uh,
it. No censure here.
okay. Uh, uh, um, I took care of a lady with liver cirrhosis. She had a bad liver, and she was given 6 months to live. She lasted 3 years and more. Then I moved to New York, and I did keep in touch with her for about a year and a half after that, but she was still alive. And being her home care nurse, I said to her, I said, I don't know why doctors say that to you, because you're great unless you do something that you have not told doctors. And she said that she was taking milk thistle,
Big thistle, yeah. Yeah.
milk thistle tea,
Yeah.
like twice a day. And the milk thistle is a great liver
Yeah.
cleanser. And
Wow.
I think that did it for her.
Amazing.
And and I have learned something for her that, today I take mirtisol, once in a while just to cleanse my
Yeah.
liver.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have decided not to listen to the doctor and to listen to God. And every day I went in my backyard, and before I did a visualization, meditation visualization, I would pray, and I asked the divine, I asked God to imbue me with his love, with his healing. I would have my hands like this to receive. So I would feel, I had this connection with God that on top of the crown of my head, I had a rope to the heaven, and down the rope, he was sending me the healing energy.
Could
So
you,
that
sorry, yeah, this is really, I love that. This is so juicy. Could you feel it energetically? Could you feel the energy coming into you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, because you have to be present
Yeah.
and clear yourself from whatever it is. I was in the backyard. I live in a townhome community at that time, and I was near a lake, so the setting was just right. And like I established my relationship with God before, and so I had complete trust and faith of what I was doing. And I did not read it anywhere. It was just my way
Yeah.
of having that connection. And the more I visualized the healing, the more I felt it. And I felt the heat, I felt the electricity. Then I would have all this come into my brain, and invoke. I invoked this healing light to go into the neurons that fire electricity to my right sciatic nerve. And every day, that's my visualization. All the electricity were going from the top to my head, inside my brain, and going down the sciatic nerve, and healing whatever needed to heal. So I did that for about 3 months, every single day for a whole between 45 minutes and an hour. And I never questioned or never asked myself if it was going to work or not.
So you never
It was,
doubted.
huh?
You never doubted. It was just,
No, no, it was, I enjoyed that time. I felt, and during that time that I was with God, I did not feel pain. I did not feel pain. So I was looking forward to go there and having a relief, but also this communion with the Spirit was like pure joy, and that was my time. That was my special time. So I was looking forward to it, and I didn't know where it was going to lead me, but I just knew I had to do it. I just knew. And so after 3 months, I was in the park with my husband. We were sitting on a bench, and I saw a couple that was coming, uh, passing us, and they were jogging. And I looked at the lady, and and then something clicked in my brain. I heard a voice saying, "Yaffa, jog. Yaffa, get up and jog." And I heard that voice, and I turned to my husband, Alex, and I said, "Alex, I'm going to jog." And he started laughing at me. He said, "Yaffa, you know you cannot do that." And so you have to be careful, because when he told me that, he put a little bit of doubt in my mind, but not much, but just enough that I held back and I hesitated to get up. But then I heard the voice again that says, "Yaffa, get up and jog."
So, Yaffa,
So I
this
turned
voice,
to,
this voice that you heard, because I heard a voice once, and I find it very difficult to put it into word. It was not my voice. It wasn't someone in the room talking to me. There were other people. It literally was a voice in my head, very clear, clear as day, very calm, very poised, with a lot of power. The kind of voice you kind of stop and listen to. Um, so was it something similar, or was that your,
exactly,
okay,
no,
yeah, so it
exactly.
definitely wasn't your voice. You were very clear about that it wasn't your voice in your head.
It was not my voice,
Yeah.
exactly the
So I
words you
know what you
used
mean.
to
Okay.
describe.
Yeah.
Very firm, very loving,
Yeah.
and like you cannot say no to it.
Yes.
So when I heard the voice again, I turned my head to Alex and I say, "Watch me." And I get up. I did not hesitate. I get up and I started jogging. A few steps, and then I realized what I was doing. And then I turned around and I looked at him from far and I said, "Alex, I did it. I did it." I was like in shock. I was surprised. And he was like surprised too. And I was laughing like a little girl, a 5-year-old that let go of the bicycle training wheel and say, "Oh, I can do it." Well, that was like that for me. And then after that, that's when the miracle happened. I healed that day because I let go of the infirmity and I trusted the divine in me, the voice. And the reason why I said, when you do something like that, keep it to yourself. Don't share. Don't tell friends. Don't tell people, because once you share something, you're going to have an input, and that can take your spirit away, or it can make you doubt. Because I had read the New Testament and the story of Peter, when Jesus invited Peter to come and walk on the water as well, and Peter says, "No, I can't." And Jesus said, "Trust me, you man of little faith," he says. And when Peter heard the voice of Jesus, I guess that voice being firm, being commanding, and he decided to do it. And he did walk on the water, but then his brain, the human brain, he had a shred of that, and that's when he started drowning under the water. So that story was telling me, like, my husband's voice was that doubt, and that I should not listen to him, that I should go back to listen to that voice, and I let go of the doubt, and in faith, and I just threw myself into jogging. I could have fallen, forward, but no, it was like it was a definite 100% that I was going to succeed, but I did not know it until I did it, and it happened. So that's how the miracle, and my sciatic nerve healed. My I started having more feeling in my sexual nerve. Uh, I stopped being incontinent. Everything was healed.
So all of it, like you were just completely back to normal. And did you feel that you were not only back to normal, but maybe beyond what you were before, like even better? Oh.
I was filled with a new energy, a new joy for life. I was like living in bliss, and I was dancing a lot. I was walking, going to the park and walking a lot, and just everything looks so much more beautiful. The trees, the flowers, the birds, the butterflies. It was a joy to be alive again. You don't look at life, and of course it changes the relationship you have with people. I I looked at people differently, with more love, compassion, empathy, understanding, um, and um, and I believe a lot in this power of healing. In fact, I had used that another time in my life where I sprained my ankle at some point, and I wrapped it with an ace wrap. And then I was outside my townhome. And sometimes we forget. We forget, years can pass and we forget this, and then something happens, and but it was like I went outside the townhome. I sat on the chair, and I pray, and I put my hand, and I say, I need a healing energy. I didn't know what I was doing, except that I needed healing energy on my hand, but healing from the divine. And then I'm taking this ball of healing energy, and I put it all around my left ankle that was sprained. And I was doing that for about 25 minutes. And and then I said to myself, I wonder if that works. So I took the wrap off my ankle, and I started doing the range of motion, which I could not do before, right, left, dorsal, and the other way. And And then I got up, I put my foot down, and I could walk without any pain. And I said, like just being surprised again. Like, I don't do it and I know it's going to heal. I think that people that consider themselves healers, um, I would not say the word arrogance. There is a gift somewhere, but it has to be used in a certain way, because that gift does not come just from here. It's downloaded. You have to have that connection, because for me, giving the healing, it's out of love, out of care for that person. But I don't know what the outcome is going to be. And I always leave it up to that greater self
Yeah,
than
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
So every healing that happens comes as a surprise to me because I don't expect it. I just do it. But having the faith that is connected to something higher, this.
And so that's a very interesting point. So is it that you feel in those moments that you're just taken care of? So there isn't a question of, oh, I'm gonna heal or I'm not gonna heal. You were saying that every day when you were connecting, you were doing it for 45 minutes to an hour. But you said at that point that you never doubted, but what you never doubted wasn't necessarily that you were going to heal. You just never doubted the energy that you were connecting with, and the connection and the well-being that you were getting from it in those moments. Is that correct, or is there more?
No, that's correct, Carol. When you go see a doctor, uh, I don't find this energy, except, you know, unless you have a very good connection that is beyond, where the doctor is a good friend. I have my two sons are both doctors, and well, yeah, there is this relationship that I have, mother son, and yes, there is a connection. But I'm talking about this because you cannot see that connection.
Yeah, yeah.
That connection is felt.
Mm,
It's an energy felt with your whole being.
mm,
And for me, I trust this energy. I trust this connection. Um, I just know that there is something good that loves us a lot, and that this energy did not create us, that if it created us, it's out of love. And so I have like I am in awe, let's say, at that energy. I believe 100% in that energy. And I went there 45 minutes every single day, because when you are wrapped into this energy, I mean, I could feel my field between me and what Dr. Joe Dispenza talk
mhm.
about, the biofield, the quantum field. I feel it. And I'm surrounded by a shield, by protection, by something that loves me so much. And and then it comes inside, and it's that feeling. It feels so good that of course I wanted to do it every day.
Of course. So that was really the driving force, really, because it feels so good. I can actually feel it as you're talking about it. I can feel how the energy field has sort of expanded, and like again, it's difficult to really put into words, but yeah, it's beautiful,
Yeah. And
beautiful.
And remember, part of my journey after the accident is the social isolation. My
Yeah.
husband and I were not going out. We used to go to symphonies and ballroom dancing, things like that. With my girlfriend, I could not go to lunch with them because that would be the time, the flare would come or the pain would come, and but after that, after this healing, I was like a magnet. My energy, uh, people just wanted to be surrounded. People love my being around me, and I guess when you when you receive so much love from the divine, and you cannot just keep it, it goes, so it overflow. You have to give it out,
Mm.
and you cannot keep it to yourself. It's something that you want to share, And I know later on in my life, that's when I met this neuroscientist, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I have learned a lot from him about the quantum field, about this love that people don't do the meditation to heal. They do it because it makes them feel good. And then the healing comes. Things things change in your field inside you, and and then you have this energy of love, and you become love itself, and people are attracted to that, and it's just it's wonderful to have gone through that. And I wrote a book that tells about my life journey. That's how I
Do you
want.
have the book with you?
I do.
Will you show us?
And all right,
I will write the details. I
the
will put the details.
the uh, the book cover was chosen. I asked God, and that's I responded very well to that. It's called Life Interrupted or Life Redirected.
Love it.
So it tells by Yaffa, and it tells exactly the title tells exactly the story. Either I would stay in that interruption of my life and be forever depressed and not healed and limping and in pain, or using that challenge to see how I can transform it and how I can redirect it in a way. So the book talks about the lessons I have learned from it, um, the discovery of the power of prayers, faith, meditation, visualization in the healing. And the day I talk about the day I bless the accident. Because at first, I was very resentful because my life had been shattered. I thought of the people driving as bad people, causing the accident. And so that only create bad energy in you, this resentment, this hate, and so there was at some point of my healing, I came to bless the day of the accident. And once I made the accident my ally in my adventure to transformation, then I started healing because the accident did not, the negativity of that day, the memories and the emotions that were trapped with that uh, with the accident, they were no longer having any grip on myself, on my life. And I know Dr. Joe Dispenza talk about a memory that is not filled with the emotions, that are free of the emotions that have trapped. That memory becomes wisdom. And so there are a lot of things that I have learned about myself during that journey. And like I said, becoming a more loving person, a more understanding, tolerant. I stopped judging people. I was able to see, I'm able to see the goodness, the spark, the divine spark in people. And like sometimes they basically have the good intention, but because of the upbringing, because of a lot of what we call domestication and influence from society, you're smiling. I this word domestication, it was an eye opener for me. about 2, 3 years ago, I found out about Dr. Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote about the voice of knowledge and domestication. I was like, oh, wow. So it cleans you of a lot of what creates bad stuff in our body, basically, and our mind. And so what happened to me later on in life, I was able to go back into this aspect of my being and uncover a lot of traumas that were keeping me into the state. Um, so so anyway, I wanted to write that book to give a message to people, especially women, that there is an alternative. There is power in healing, in meditation, faith, and I wanted to inspire others that are going through pain and not being understood by the medical world nowadays. So,
Wow. And I love that you spontaneously started to talk about the word you use is once I made the accident an ally, I healed. I love that because the first conversation I had was with Sonia, and she spoke a lot as well about forgiveness. So she used her own process as well, Ho'oponopono, which is all around that, and but there are so many similarities. It was her own process, but there are so many similarities, and it seems to me that in all the stories that I'm hearing out there, and the ones that I'm starting to hear directly with those conversations, is the importance of not seeing anything that has happened as an enemy, not to judge it or blame him, but to actually come to that place of peace and blessings even with it.
yes, yes, it's like when people and women respond to cancer, oh my God, I have cancer.
Yeah.
And instead of saying that, people should ask themselves, okay, what is this cancer is trying to tell me, teach me? It is there to teach something. A friend of mine, her name is Françoise. She lives in France now. She lives in United States in Boca Raton, but her parents got sick with COVID, and she went to France to take care of her parents. And then less than a month later, she finds out that she has stage 3 breast cancer. So when she told me about it, she was devastated. And I was on a mission to tell her all the stuff I know about, healing and uncovering a lot of things that have contributed to the cancer. But people get scared and they want to have what is measured by scientists. So right away is, okay, the chemo, the drugs, the radiation. And the thing is, which, okay, my friend decided to do that, but I said to her, if you want the cancer to go away faster, you need to unravel what has created the cancer. Meaning, because I know I've been friend for 35 years, and I know everything she went through. a very bad relationship, very bad divorce, poverty, financial trouble, um, and, and that's a lot of stress brought by decades, plus a lot of emotions
Oh, sorry,
attached to
Yafa.
it.
Sorry to interrupt, but there seems to be
So she did
something.
the work.
Sorry, Yafa. Can you hear me? There seems to be some.
Uh,
There seems to
there
be.
seems to be some kind of
Yeah, yeah.
interruption,
The
some
connection seems to be.
frozen state. And and sometimes that happens when Zoom goes for more than an hour. That's what I hear.
Yeah, yeah, and we've been going on for an hour, so that's very possible. And my thought, um, there is so much you've shared, so much. It's amazing, and there is
Oh,
so much more to your story. And I feel that perhaps it would be best if we had another conversation, if that was okay with you, so that we can cover the second part of your journey because there is
that
so much
that is
more.
definitely.
There is so much more, guys. And we want
And
to hear everything
I
Yaffa
would
has to
love to,
say.
Carol.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's just,
Yes, yes,
I
I'd
feel
love to.
amazing. You've taken me on a trip. I feel absolutely amazing. It's like the trillions of cells in my body are dancing. Thank you
Thank you.
so,
Yeah,
so much,
I
Yaffa.
think we're having.
Yeah, we're having
You're
a
welcome,
few
Carol.
technical difficulties, so it's probably a sign that we need to bring it to the end for today, just for today. But Yaffa will
Yes,
be back. I promise you,
yes.
Yaffa will be back.
Because,
There is so much more Yaffa has to share with us, and thank you so, so much for joining us. It's been an absolute, absolute blessing and pleasure to listen to you and exchange with you.
thank,
Mm. Oh.
thank you. My pleasure, Carol. Looking
Okay.
forward to talk with you
Yes,
again.
absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.